Hey folks, yeah, man from the past here again. I'm here in northwestern Missouri, and I got to talk about a company that just sort of made me very angry. Now, I worked for this company called Big G Express for 16 months. If you see this on a truck, guess what? Don't work with these people. And here's why. I'm going to give you the full lowdown. Now, they fired a guy for just sitting there and reporting on an incident that he saw. And they got rid of him, and he'd been working for 3+ years for him or longer. And they just ditched him because they don't want the truth to get out. So if you see these, feel sorry for the people driving these trucks, and do not do business with this company. And here's why. Okay, I've got a list. Okay, Big G's motto is going the extra mile. That's not true. Big G's motto as far as their drivers is keep them poor and keep them rolling. Okay, they lie to you, drivers, about getting 2,500 miles or more a week. I rarely was able to get 2,500 miles a week. And you're like, well, gee, why'd you work for them for 16 months? Because I kept thinking that maybe it'll get better, and it never did. It got worse and worse and worse, and I'm not the only one. I know a bunch of other drivers who've left that company who did put in a year or longer with them and only see the situation deteriorate. So they lie about the miles they get. The thing that really bothered me the most was they lied on my W-4. Okay, they did not take out maximum withholding as directed by me to take out maximum withholding from my paycheck. So now I'm in the hole about $2,600 worth of federal government. I'm trying to get a reprieve on that. We'll see. But they lied about that. And when the corporate head called me up and said, well, you drivers are responsible. No, when I came into orientation, I put maximum withholding. Prove it. If I'm saying anything that's a lie or slanderous, please bring me to court. And let's just do due discovery and have an audit while we're at it. Big G Express is terrible. Okay, they constantly have you running on recaps. Okay, you can't afford to make enough money to take an actual 34. In some cases, I've run recaps up to 2.5 months. I know people who've run it for 3. And even if you take a 34, and you thought, wow, I'll make a decent paycheck this week so I can take a 34, you end up getting the same amount of money as you did running a week of recaps. They've got some real shady accounting practices, obviously. They have no breakdown pay. You're on your own. Screw you, drivers. You're on your own, okay? No breakdown pay. And they debate whether you should get a hotel room for a night when it's one of their vehicles that's broken down. My wife had to sit there and drive 90 miles in the dark to come and pick me up because I broke down outside of Montgomery. And they had 6 hours to sit there and give me one night in a hotel. That's all I was asking for. And then they call me after my wife is already moving towards me in the dark saying, you still want that hotel? Boy, thanks for caring, Big G. These guys suck. They cost drivers more money than it's worth working for them. And we'll just go into that. My truck was broken down on and off for 16 times. And out of that 16 times, standard it might be anywhere from 2 to 3 days. So let's just do it's going to be a month and a half of pay out of your pocket because they don't pay any detention pay. And fuck you, drivers. We'll get it when we get it. Okay, so yeah, no breakdown pay. No detention pay, or they do pay it, but you have to sit there and beat them over the head through your fleet managers to get it, even though you might have been sitting around for 4 or 5 hours. Okay, you're waiting on a load. I had to wait to get a new load for 26 hours one time. I'm not the only one. That's another day plus of money that you can't make driving. Well, and speaking of driving, they go anywhere from 49 to 52 cents a mile. Which in today's rates is actually paltry. The standard driving rate should be a minimum of 60 cents a mile. That has nothing to do with inflation. It's what the driver's worth. Come on. And you work your way up. So no detention pay. Asset managers / fleet managers, uncaring, don't give a shit, because they're just got to get that next load, because 85 to 90% of their loads are brokered, which means you got a thief already in the loop in a broker stealing money, and they might be brokering themselves. Let's do discovery, and let's have an audit of this company and find out what's really going on. So the driver ends up paying for everything, including the taxes that were not taken out in his annual paycheck. Thank you, Big G. You suck. Okay, they're an ESOP. That's an employee stock option plan company. That's a scam. And here's why. I have it on very good intelligence from somebody higher up in that organization that their driver turnover rate is 2.5 to 3 months, and then they flip over. Well, during that time, they are taking money from the driver and putting it in their little ESOP scam, which you can't touch unless you do 3 years with the company. And they keep these other drivers on going longer than 3 years because they're probably starting to pay them better. Those drivers wouldn't talk about that little fact. Oh, I've got $25,000 coming next month because I did 3 years in Big G. Guarantee. If you take that money, like the one guy did on his video, he probably had his ESOP money. That was paid for by all these other drivers who are only doing 2.5 to 3 months until they find out that Big G, this company, sucks. There's a lot of under-the-table scamming and creative accounting, obviously, going on in that company. Driver turnover rates, ridiculous. That's a dead giveaway right there. 2.5 to 3 months. And driver's gone. Now, I was an idiot. I said, well, I'll do 16 months. I know a couple guys did 2 years, and they said, fuck it. Because these people suck. You end up being poor driving for Big G than you make any money. Because, like I said, they didn't even bother to sit there and do what they were directed to do in orientation, saying, I want maximum withholding on my income tax. They didn't bother that. Oh, that's the driver's fault. No, it isn't. What do you have a frickin' payroll section for? Which, you, by the way, good luck in trying to get a hold of those people at any one time. Ask any Big G driver how long it takes to get a hold of payroll. It'll be a miracle if you can get a hold of them within a week. Probably out spending the money they stole from you. Okay, so low pay, 49.52 cents per mile. And yeah, you might be able to go up a little bit, not much, but you're not making any miles. On average, I was making about, sometimes it'd be, oh great, I make a normal paycheck, which is about $1,100 to $1,200 after taxes, which they weren't taking out. Then the rest of the time, you end up getting a $900 paycheck, $800. Well, maybe you hillbillies in Tennessee like that, you know. Ooh, I got me a $900 paycheck after taxes. That's not what I'm out here for, and that's not what any of the OTR drivers for Big G are out there for, and that's why they have such a terrible turnover rate. You're making about the same in a week on recaps as you would if you'd had a good week and took 34. You're still going to make up a crap paycheck. So crappy pay, manipulated pay in miles, no detention pay, no breakdown pay. And here's a nice little added bit of frosting on the cake. You can only take 4 months. I mean, 4 days out of a month. Okay, so what if you've been on the road for 6 months? Oh, you could still only take 4 days. What a bunch of cheap, thieving assholes. Now, not all the people in Big G are bad, but the people that are manipulating that trucking company on the highest levels, I would definitely call for some kind of state audit or federal audit and tax audit, by the way. And I've asked the IRS to sit there and look in on these people. So please, come on down. Show me where I did not say maximum withholding on my W-2. And by the way, you only took out $750 for the year. That's not even minimal withholding. So there's a real issue there. But I guess all those dumb hillbillies just think that's normal for that company. And this not actually, most hillbillies aren't very dumb. Hillbillies are running this company, and they're running it into the dirt. Trying to take a 34 in Big G? Good luck. Go home, for your 4 days, which, by the way, they'll have you driving on that 4 days. You'll be driving on your home time. And then they'll turn around. You're supposed to get 5 days per year free, paid. Well, why are they calling me up and having me roll on my 5th day? Little things like that. Please, anybody else who's had dealings with this idiot company, these thieves and liars, please tell me about it. Get in the comments. And if you want to come over to a real company that treats their drivers well, Crete, or GP Transco, or Hirschbaum, or any of the others that are on the top 5 of Smart Truckers list. Crete is a wonderful company, and they are light years ahead of these fly-by-night bullshit companies like Big G. That's all I have to say about that. Please. Oh, by the way, Big G, quit sending me emails about how great the company's going and we're doing this and that. I'm pretty sure I'll get taken and blacklisted off your list, and I don't care. Oh, as an extra sidebar, I knew I was going to quit. I gave them a 2-week notice. And they had me, running on recaps as usual. Run out there, do this, do that, get on over there. Oh, you're going to have a service failure if you don't do this. While we keep you poor and keep you rolling, keep you poor and keep you rolling. And I rolled into their terminal on 840 over there in Nashville, and they called me in the office and said, oh, we're going to have to take your truck. You got 48 hours to get out of your truck. After I gave them a 2 weeks notice, validated, documented on their own servers. Oh, well, we need that truck, really? So you can scam more drivers. So, yeah, luckily, I didn't know about it, but I told another buddy of mine who's fixing to do the same thing. Be advised, if you tell them you're going to quit, the moment you roll into one of their terminals, they're going to take your truck. So you need to dump all your shit at home before you turn that truck in or go into the terminal, because they're going to shut you down and take the truck. Yeah, that's after 16 months for me and after 2 years for him. And he got out of it. Luckily, Crete, a real company, came to the rescue and got me a rental car, and I got my stuff out of the truck, and I was over in Lenore City going through the orientation, and they were wonderful. Crete is a damn good company, and these people are white trash garbage. That's all I have to say about that, said Forrest Gump.